Hey, how's it going guys? Chris here with another in-depth Overwatch guide, and in today's video I'm going to be focusing on the tank hero D.Va, taking a look at all of those abilities and how to use them well, along with some good strategies, tactics, tips and tricks. So being a tank character, your main goal is to provide supportive fire, distract and disrupt enemies and generally give them a hard time, making attacking or defending objectives more of a challenge for them. D.Va is a fairly agile hero, being able to dash around in a beefed up mech, gun down close range targets and block some incoming fire too. With 100 health and 400 armor, she can definitely soak up the damage, especially as the majority of your HP is armor, which reduces some of the damage done to you. And that 500 total isn't counting the extra 150 health that you'll be granted after ejecting from the mech after its destruction. So being a big target to shoot at that moves quite slowly when attacking, this HP can be wiped out very quickly if you're not careful. This means that D.Va has a difficulty rating of 2 stars, with a fair balance between agility, power and durability, without any specific factor being too weak or too strong. Anyway, D.Va is a professional StarCraft player who won several big gaming tournaments and was ranked as the top player in the world for a few years. She became an international celebrity, though the Omnics threatened her homeland back in South Korea, and the government turned to its pro gamers to pilot advanced mechs, as you do, as they generally had the best reflexes and reaction times needed to drive them. D.Va was a prime candidate for the mecha drone, and so was adopted as part of the country's defense unit to protect the people of her homeland, all while streaming her combat operations to fans across the globe, continuing to grow in fame and popularity. Now, as far as those weapons and abilities go, the main way to deal the damage is by using the Mechs fusion cannons. These are a pair of close range rotating cannons that act like a pair of rapid firing shotguns, shooting off 8 pellets per blast. The damage from the cannons varies depending on range, as they can deal a maximum of 3 damage per pellet in CQC up to 11 meters, though the damage drops off beyond this down to as low as 0.5 per pellet past 30 meters. So in simpler terms, at range the fusion cannons are only really going to tickle your enemies, as not only is 0.5 damage per pellet really low, but a lot of those pellets won't even hit your target, down to the fairly wide spread of the shot. Thankfully though, the twin cannons fire a rapid 7 blasts per second, and so you should be able to whittle health down over time, even though that damage isn't particularly very high. Down to that range drop off, combined with the pellet spread pattern, it makes the cannon super effective up close, and so you're going to want to get up as close as possible to your targets, flanking if you can, to get the drop on them before opening fire. The overall movement speed of the mech slows right down whilst firing the cannons, meaning you can't strafe around to get on target, and you can't advance on an enemy's position very well while shooting out those pellets. The closer you get to an enemy, the more powerful those cannons are, but with the mech's reduced movement speed, you're pretty vulnerable and can be escaped from quite easily. You'll have to determine when it's best to open fire and when to sacrifice movement speed for damage, as sometimes you'd be better getting closer to someone rather than trying to take them out from a safer distance. Acting in a similar way to a Reaper or Tracer player, it's often best to move in and reduce the distance from your opponent first, blast them away in CQC, and then retreat back to safety after killing them. One of the most useful aspects of the cannons is the fact that they don't need to be reloaded, as you can continuously fire your blasts, peppering targets with your pellets, and deal sustained damage, all without having to worry about running out of ammo. This means that you can constantly be chipping away at health, and it also means that you can keep dealing damage to an escaping enemy who is running away. Because of the fast firing nature of the cannons, combined with that large pellet spread, it means that the fusion cannons are a great means of assisting other players when killing targets, and helping to lower enemy health in congested areas, as you don't need to be very accurate with them, and you can keep on firing without the need to reload. Out of all the other heroes, other tank characters will probably be more vulnerable to D.Va's cannons, down to their bigger hitboxes, and so more pellets are likely to land on them at further distances. This means that she can be quite effective against other tanks, and will probably be better at killing them than smaller characters beyond close range. Now, because D.Va needs to gain some ground and get right up close to her enemies to deal those higher damage values, a good way to quickly reach them is by activating the booster ability. This is great for mobility, as it launches D.Va forwards whilst fully controllable, allowing you to quickly zoom off at 12.5 meters per second. You'll be able to travel about 25 meters overall, letting you get right up close to your target and within the fusion cannon's optimal range. Charging into enemies will push them backwards, dealing 25 damage, and it's often a good strategy to charge into an enemy to impact their health and then blast the rest of it away whilst in close range. The boosters only have a 5-second cooldown time, and so can be used again for offensive and defensive purposes, to easily finish off a weakened enemy with low health, or defensively to quickly dash away from a dangerous situation. There's a lot of different uses for the boosters, and because you have complete control over which direction you move in, they can often be used to reach high ground and hard to reach areas, letting you flank enemies easier and move around side routes that can only be travelled around with specific characters. They can get you back into the battle quicker too, after dying, and this will let you reach your teammates faster and help to take or defend objectives. At the same time, due to this high movement speed increase, you can quickly escape from enemy ultimates too, avoiding death. Another good way to use the boosters is to use them not only to escape from battle, but to zoom into health packs that are around the map, to top lost health back up, and get ready for another attack. Offensively, you could use the boosters to damage multiple opponents at once, that are in narrow rooms and standing in a line. And in the right situation, you can use that knockback effect to throw enemies off cliffs and into bottomless pits for environmental kills. Using your melee attack whilst boosting will increase this knockback effect plus deal some bonus damage, making it easier to both force opponents off ledges, sending them flying off to their deaths, or deal extra damage to kill them that way. Though a more defensive ability that D.Va has to protect herself from incoming fire is the Defense Matrix. This is essentially a forwards facing targeting array that blocks incoming fire and eliminates projectiles that would otherwise cause some damage. Just like Reinhardt's barrier, you can switch the defense matrix on and off independently, blocking enemy shots to prevent damage. But unlike Reinhardt's barrier, you'll remain fully mobile whilst doing so. It acts as more of a personal shield, preventing damage on yourself rather than on others, though you can still use it to defend teammates by rushing up to an attacking opponent and by using the ability to stop those shots from connecting on allies as well as yourself. And so long as your teammates are nearby, the defense matrix can often prevent damage to them too. It does have a recharge time, taking 10 seconds to return to full once empty, and when used all at once, it can block damage for about 4 seconds. Though whenever you stop using the defense matrix, it'll start to recharge again, and providing you haven't used the whole charge, you can activate it again to block more shots. The defense matrix is useful for allowing you to reach opponents safely and then blast them away with those cannons. Though another effective way to do this is by combining it with your booster ability, to fly right up close to a dangerous enemy and mow them down when you get there. This works really well when taking on Bastion's sentry and Torbjorn's turrets, plus other enemies that can deal high damage at range, such as Hanzo, Widowmaker and Anna. The defense matrix can even block most projectile based ultimates too, such as McCree's Deadeye, Reaper's Death Blossom, Bastion's Tank Form, Roadhog's Whole Hog, Soldier 76's Tactical Visor, and Farah's Barrage. So if you're quick enough and can time it right, you can save yourself by activating it to block incoming shots. And just like a true hero, you can even protect your entire team by rushing right up to the attacking enemy and using the defense matrix as they activate that ultimate, blocking all of the damage, thus saving the whole team. Although it might block most ultimates, you'll still be vulnerable to some things, such as melee damage along with Symmetra's Projector Beam, Winston's Tesla Gun, Mei's Blaster's Primary Fire, Zarya's Particle Beam, and Lucio's Sound Blast. Plus you can still be stunned and drawn in by Roadhog's Chain Hook too. But at any point where all of your health and armour has been depleted, you'll eject from the mech and be able to dash around the map with an extra 150 HP, gunning people down with D.Va's fully automatic light gun. Although it might seem like a last-ditch effort, the light gun is surprisingly powerful, being able to take on players at medium ranges more effectively than by using the mech itself. It feels similar to Mercy's blaster, though it fires slightly quicker but deals less damage per shot, with each projectile taking away 14 health as it lands on target. There's no damage drop off over range, making it effective at killing targets better over distance, plus it also does headshot damage too, bumping those shots up to 28 for critical hits. The main downside of being outside of your mech is that lack of health, so you'll need to strafe around, jumping side to side to dodge incoming attacks, and try to keep some distance from hectic battles. Eventually you'll be able to call for another mech, as the secondary ultimate meter charges at 1 point per second. Using the light gun to deal damage will boost this up quicker, though once you can call for a new one, it can often be best to use it whenever you start to take a fair amount of damage instead of straight away, as that light gun can be pretty good on its own at most ranges, and that new mech can be used as a bit of a lifeline. Whenever you call a new mech in, it'll push all nearby opponents away, dealing 50 damage to them as well. So if an enemy is up close and you're in danger of dying, spawning the mech there and then will push them back and take out a small chunk of their health, allowing you to finish them off inside the mech. But anyway, last but not least, D.Va's ultimate ability, Self-Destruct, is definitely one of the more powerful ultimates in the game. This allows you to eject from the mech and set it to detonate, causing a massive blast that kills anyone within a wide area. The maximum damage dealt is 1000, which is more than enough to kill everybody, though this damage does drop off over distance. It'll only affect players in clear line of sight, so it's going to be much more effective in wide open areas such as objective points, as opposed to a place with lots of walls and objects to hide behind, as even the smallest amount of cover can block all of the damage from the blast. Players can even hide behind the payload if used next to one, though they'll have a very narrow window to do so, as the mech only takes 3 seconds to explode. Down to the ability being fairly easy to avoid in areas with lots of cover, it can be used to clear areas more than deal damage if need be, as it'll cause all nearby enemies to run and hide, allowing your team to move on to objectives. The blast won't affect you or your team, so this is often a good way to both kill anyone contesting the point, and prevent others from advancing forwards for a short while. One of the most effective ways of using the ability is in combination with your boosters, as this can essentially launch the mech forwards and activate the bomb's timer whilst it's still moving. This will make the exploding mech's location much more unpredictable, plus it'll let you safely eject from a distance too. It also works well in combination with other hero ultimates, such as Mei's and Zarya's, as their ultimates can prevent enemies from escaping the blast if they're both combined together. So generally, D.Va's main use is to help aid your team and provide supportive fire, along with disrupting enemy attack patterns in CQC. She's got a high survivability, being able to stay in the fight far longer than most other heroes, ejecting and calling down new mechs throughout the battle. And although she's not very powerful at range, those boosters and defense matrix will allow you to zoom up to your targets and reach them much easier, allowing you to bridge the gap, zone in and tear through your opponents up close, all whilst being able to zip off to a safe distance with that extra mobility. And that's just about all I've got for you this time, guys. Hope the guide helped, thumbs up if it did, and subscribe for loads more content on my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that next one.